What's gambling really costing you?
There's Group 1 racing at Flemington, terrific racing at Randwick, and Dean Evans from Winning Edge Investments joins us now. Winning Edge Investments, start betting like a professional. Chances are you're about to lose. Dean Evans, good morning to you, mate. Can't wait for tomorrow's racing at Flemington. We've got the Makybe Diva in Sydney. We've got the Sydney Stakes, the Shorts, the Kingston Rose and the T Rose. We'll start off with the Makybe Diva as I say good morning to you. Boy, it's going to be a tactical affair with only 7 engaged in this year's Makybe Diva. The best ride might win tomorrow's race, as I say good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Gareth. Good to chat with you again. And yeah, it's a small field in the Makybe, but it's a strong field. The best performers of the Memsey are there, and there's a race that's had plenty of great winners over the years, and it sets them up for the upcoming races as they lead into the Turnbull and the Cox Plate and all that sort of thing. Over the last 9 years, 6 of the winners have come out of the Memsey. 6 of the 9 winners have been 4-year-olds or 5-year-olds, but 6, 7 and 8-year-olds have all had a turn as well. Geldings and Entires have won all 9, split sort of 50-50. So the mares haven't had a win. And interestingly, with most of the winners coming out of the Memsey, 3 of the 9 winners finished in the first 3. But then 6 of the 9 winners have actually finished between 5th and 10th. So you don't necessarily need to be the best performed runner in the Memsey as they, jump from the 1400 at Caulfield to the mile at Flemington. It's a different kettle of fish. Alligator Blood obviously looks to set the speed pretty comfortably. You'll have Princess Grace and Mr. Brightside right there, like you're saying. It'll be a very tactical affair. Osapenko and Francesco Guardi will still in midfield, and Aegon and Spanish Mission will be right out the back. Mr. Brightside just absolutely flying. Jewel Doncaster handicap winner, won the All-Star Mile, keeps getting better with age. Very impressive first up winning the PB Lawrence, and then again in the Memsey, despite what was a pretty wide run without cover, so he's sort of flying, and he's pretty hard to beat. Alligator Blood's won 5 Group 1s, a couple of trials. He won ahead of Memsey, and he's only beaten less than a length first up, so he's certainly a big danger. Princess Grace has been solid both her runs. Second in the Winx was despite being stuck on the fence against the bar, so that had a lot of merit, and she was good again when second in the Memsey. And Osapenko, I think, is the other big one. He got back and he finished on really strong with the 5th in the Winx Stakes first up. Then he hit the line again, really hard for 7th in the Memsey. I think that run was better than it looks. He ran the 8th quickest last 600 of the day, and he actually ran the quickest last 1,000, 800, 600, 400 and 200 of the race, compared to Mr. Brightside, Alligator Blood and Princess Grace. So he's actually the one that I think is going to improve the most out of the race. He's probably the one that was least suited there in the Memsey, and is probably most suited, coming back to Flemington in a race where, Mr. Brightside, Alligator Blood and Miss Princess Grace will be firm in the market. I think the one that could actually spoil them is Osapenko.
I'm in love with Osapenko. My only concern now, Dean, and you can give me a little bit more confidence here, which I'd appreciate, is that, and we've been on this horse on this particular show with you for a few weeks now, from the futures point of view, from Makybe Diva. I just thought now with the setup of this race, Alligator Blood will probably walk in front and Brightside just off him. And Osapenko, if it was going to be like a truly run 1,600 metres, this is the horse that you want to be on. But Are they going to go too slow for him in the middle stages? Or do you think he can settle close enough from this inside draw?
Yeah, it's interesting. He had a really interrupted prep last year, and I think if he hadn't, he'd be a much better performed Entire. He won the Hobartville. He sat 4th in the Hobartville when he won that last prep, so he wasn't that far off the speed. He was sort of alongside Zoo Tiger. He's got pace. He then settled 4th also in the George Ryder. He was only beaten a length and a half, and I thought that one had a lot of merit as again, he'd had to be scratched from the Randwick Guineas 2 weeks before because he'd had a setback. So he's not a horse that I necessarily think has to settle, a mile back. He can take a reasonably forward position, and like I said, his late sectionals in the Memsey were a fair bit better than the rest. Yeah. He sort of ran plus 5.2 for the last 600. Mr. Brightside ran 4.4, Princess Grace ran 4.2, Alligator Blood ran 2.3. So, he's got he's got a length or two up his sleeve potentially there once they get up to the mile at Flemington. That's going to suit him really well. So I think he can settle a bit closer than people expect. Mr. Brightside will definitely lead. Alligator Blood will definitely lead. But I think, Ozapink will be right behind Mr. Brightside and Princess Grace. And I think he's got the ability to swing past them in the straight.
Love it. Let's have a look at some of the features at Randwick. And the Kingston Town's an interesting race because you've got the Derby winner, Makybe at $7. Montefiore, that was heavily supported in a Chelmsford, but got too far back at $4.60. The horse that defeated most of these runners in a Chelmsford was Navajo Peak. He's been scratched from the Newcastle Cup to days at $9. Then we've got Protagonist at $13 with Bet365. King Frankel has also been scratched from Newcastle today for this race at $19. And then we go down the bottom here, and we had a debate after that particular Saturday. Could have Just Fine defeated the Chelmsford field after his devastating first up victory. He's at $3.40. The horse that was sold by the King. Who wins the Kingston Town here, Dean, in your eyes?
Look, we've been talking about Montefiore a fair bit, over these previews, and I think she's found the right race here. We were keen for in on her in the Chelmsford, and it just didn't really work out for her at all. She was slow away, missed the start. She then sort of had to get hunted up, and sort of settle late into the field, and she just never really looked comfortable. And they ran so slowly early. They were 6.5 lengths below par early on in that race. So it obviously suited the on paces. That's why we sort of saw Navajo Peak and Major Beale sort of fighting it out there on speed. I just think this race really profiles very, very differently. I've got a really, really hot speed here. When you've got horses like Knight's Order, Just Fine, Major Beale, all engaged, from the Waterhouse Yard. They all like to be right up there on speed. And Navajo Peak, Protagonist, Fancy Man, were too far away. So, I think there's a really different profile here from a speed perspective with, 14 runners over the 2,000. They're not going to walk as much as they did in the Chelmsford. And, I still see Montefiore really is absolutely flying. I think she's getting up to the right distance range now. Her Link Stakes run was still, exceptional, plus 8.3 for the last 600. I think the Chelmsford just didn't really work out for her. I think Jason Collett will suit her well, and I really expected her to come up a short favourite here, and I think the current price that she was around that $4.80 mark is very good value for an absolutely top class mare like her.
So Montefiore around $4.60, as you just pointed out, with Bet365, so we can get our money back from the Chelmsford, it sounds like. And now in the T-Rows for the fillies, this time they step up to the 1,600 metres the 1,400 metres of the T-Rows. The 1,600 will be the flight stakes if they want to go down that path. Tis Invincible 380 is the favourite here. You got Komochi at $4.20, Autumn Ballet at $10, Sardozi at $17, Tropical Squall with the X Factor type of impact here in this race at $6.50 with the different form lines. And then we go down to a horse like a Unique Ambition with some different form lines as well at $19. Mumbai Muse is at $19 as well, along with Summer Loving. Who wins the T-Rows, mate?
Yeah, look, another race where there seems to be plenty of speed. My database is predicting a really, really quick speed here. Tropical Squall, Platinum Jubilee, Nantucket Island, all really pushing for that early speed. Mumbai Muse, Autumn Ballet, on pace there, and Tis Invincible mapping really nicely, sort of sixth on the fence, and should get a really nice run. I think she's very, very good. Tis Invincible. We've backed her on trials by both her runs as prep. She's sat very wide in a Warwick Farm August 4 trial. First up was really strong, winning by 1.3 lengths under no pressure. She won the Rosebud against the boy really nicely first up, and then again her Furious run was just very, very impressive. That last sort of 200 metres was exceptional. And looking at her sectionals profile, from the 600 to the 400 to 200 in both her runs, she's just getting better and better. And then 9th quickest last 200 in the Rosebud, and then the 8th quickest last 200. That's of all runners on the day at Randwick. when she won the Furious. I just think she's finishing off really well. The 1400 is going to suit. She's drawn barrier 2. She maps perfectly to set sort of 6 on that hot speed. And she's another where I was a bit surprised at the price. I know it's a big field, but I thought she was going to come up a much, much shorter price than she is here. I think she's top class. I think, she's a horse that can win the Coolmore, I think, down the straight at Flemington later in the carnival. She's a Group 1 filly all day. I think she's the type of filly we'll be talking about for a long time. And I really think she would stand out and the one to beat and probably the bet of the day.
All right, then that's a great push. Tis Invincible, 380 there with Bet365. Looking forward to that, T Rose. And I love these type of filly series that they have in Sydney this time of the spring. You get to see them basically every couple of weeks going up and trip. And I know some will drop back in distance after this and some will head to the Flight Stakes, but looking forward to that contest there on Saturday. Dino, for all of the SEN listeners, all they need to do is go to Winning Edge Investments, type in SEN, and you'll be getting, listen to this, a lifetime 50% off there at Winning Edge Investments, which is the best winner that you can back all weekend, Dino.
Yeah, look, it's been fantastic. We've had a heap of the SEN listeners jump on board, and they're really loving how we're going. We're having an absolutely fantastic spring carnival so far, and there's so much more to go. So they're brilliant times, and looking forward to another fantastic day's racing.
Enjoy the weekend, mate. We appreciate your time as always.
Cheers, Gareth.
At Winning Edge Investments, our team of highly skilled expert analysts and full-time professional punters review the data, crunch the figures, assess the best betting opportunities, and deliver them to your phone via our app and your email inbox in real time so you profit. Go to www.winningedgeinvestments.com. Look at our membership options, make your choice, and enter the promo code PODCAST to receive a special 25% discount on your first membership just for listening. That's PODCAST in capital letters for a 25% ongoing discount on your first membership. Treat your betting like a business and invest intelligently with Winning Edge Investments.